Fire Sect. Origin of fire deity. Name, Infernia. It is said that Infernia came from the Far East, from the lands of the driving sands. It is so hot there that very few things can survive. Infernia survived the wasteland only by submitting his body to the vast heated stretches and thus becoming one with the inferno that he came to call home. He decided to leave the lands after many years, in which he realized that he was no longer growing older and that he had become a part of the burning lands. His time in them had allowed him to gain control of the element of fire. This opened up vast portals in his mind that allowed him to grasp the magic of the world around him and bend it to his will. It also gave him the ability to share his power with those who were willing to serve him. By gaining followers he received additional strength, thus allowing him to become a deity. Minor spells. Fireman spell. The caster, companions are immune to fire. Duration is dice dependent. Fireball. Ability to throw a ball of fire. Burning hands. Lets the target's hands catch on fire so that when they touch something it burns up, doors or enemies, for example. Duration is dice dependent. Fire splash. When the target is hit with fire, everything in a 3-foot radius around the target also receives fire damage. Buffer zone. An area around the target, the size of one shake of the dice, in which the undead cannot enter. Any undead who enter this area will start to catch on fire and melt away. Duration is dice dependent. Damage to the undead depends on the strength of the undead. Fire javelin. The caster creates a quiver of fire javelins, up to 20, that can be thrown at the enemy. Duration is dice dependent. Burning sands. A whirlwind of intensely superheated sand spirals around the target, blinding and gagging them. Also burning any exposed skin. Duration is dice dependent. The grip of flame. The caster's hands become encased in fire and when they strike the target it receives strike and fire damage. Duration is dice dependent. Mid-level spells. Dozer. The target can move anything out of their path for 30 feet as they charge ahead. This can be a door, enemy, or non-magical attack. Magical attacks and spells are not affected by this spell. Fireblade. Caster calls forth a sword made of fire to fight with. Duration is dice dependent. Chain. The target is sent away 66 feet. Entrapment. The target is trapped in place and can't move from that spot. Duration is dice dependent. Backfire. The attack coming at the cleric is turned to the side and misses. Spell is one-time use. Transform into a campfire. Lets the caster transform into a campfire to hide, pull guard duty, or set a fake camp for some who are following him. Duration is dice dependent. Living fire. Caster causes a fire source, such as a torch, fireball, or campfire, to come alive and fight for them. Duration is dice dependent. Halo of fire. A ring of fire surrounds the enemy's head, burning downward. Firewalk. Allows the caster to pass from one fire to another. This can be torches, campfires, or any type of blaze. The caster must see both the beginning and end points. Fire whirl. A tornado of fire is created that follows the caster's directions. Duration is dice dependent. Fire spiders. The caster calls forth up to 7 3-foot tall spiders made of fire to attack the target. Duration is dice dependent. Corpse burning. A dead body is incinerated, usually to prevent an evil cleric from raising it from the dead to attack you. Mop up. This spell is only cast on the last survivor in an enemy group. This person will take the last damage that their last survivor took. If this was a mortal wound, then this last enemy would receive that wound. Flaming phalanges. The caster shoots 5 finger-sized bolts of fire at the target. These firebolts can feel around the target's armor or a door frame and burn what is inside. Fire friend. Caster calls forth a companion made of fire to help protect the caster and to do his bidding. Duration is dice dependent. Guardian fire. A ball of fire surrounds the caster, shooting small fireballs at nearby enemies. Duration is dice dependent. Pancreatic burn. The caster causes the target's pancreas to feel like it is on fire. Desert sun. An intense beam of super bright, hot light strikes the target in the eyes, and their eyes burn out. A fire bee swarm. Causes a swarm of 1-inch flying firebugs to attack an enemy. Duration is dice dependent. Hash in the swarm is the amount of one shake of a 20-sided die. Homo sapiens conflagration. Causing the target's clothing to catch on fire. Duration is dice dependent. Major spells. Helibase. This is a place set the day before by the caster. Once during the next day, the caster can move up to 8 targets from where they are to the site of the helicase. This spell must be set 1 day ahead for it to work. Detection. The caster can detect anyone in a 100 feet radius, no matter how they are hidden. This includes if there is someone in the radius using magic to hide. Duration is dice dependent. Blow up. Any object on the target explodes in a fiery ball of heat. Creeping fire. A small fire figure 1 inch tall creeps up on the target and jumps on it. Upon hitting the target, the creeper gets 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide and is 700 F. Only magic can detect the creeper while approaching. Fire elemental. Caster calls forth a being made of fire to attack the enemies. Duration is dice dependent. Fire beat transformation. The target changes into a fire monstrosity, being able to use all types of fire attacks, control any fire in the area, and instantly travel between any points of fire that can be seen. Duration is dice dependent. In this form, the target is only hurt by magic weapons and spells. Firestorm. The caster calls forth a massive firestorm to destroy an area and anything in the area. Caster's companions will also die if they are in the storm radius.